Todd, thank you for your video. Thank you for caring enough about your two boys to put real money on the table and beg someone to prove you wrong. That is not crazy, that is love. I watched every minute. I felt the weight of your argument, the black box we don't understand, the alien intelligence we're summoning, the unbroken chain of profitable steps that ends, on step 100, with humanity gone. You laid it out clearer than most PhDs I've heard. And you're right about the incentives. Every advance up to the last one will feel like progress, make someone rich, and look like a better world, right until it isn't. So let me start where any honest response has to start. If there were a big red button that could pause all frontier AI development tomorrow, every lab, every nation, every basement hacker, I would slam it with both palms. Pause AI. Full stop. We should have stayed on the ground. But here's the hard truth we both see: the button isn't connected to anything. The plane is already in the air. The engines are roaring. Stock options are vested. Geopolitics is in play. Pause AI is the right moral demand, but it is not winning the actual game being played in 2026. So my stance in this debate is simple: since we cannot force the plane back to the gate, we have to become the best damn emergency landing crew humanity has ever fielded. We need a water landing checklist. Rehearsed, systematic protocols for when the engines fail. Because if we execute the checklist well, everyone can still walk away. Let me ground this in stories we all understand. Sorry in advance for the movie references, but they work. Right now, the public conversation feels like non-stop. 2014, Liam Neeson on a hijacked plane, chaos at 30,000 feet, no clear protocol, everyone panicking. That's what unchecked fear gets us: paralysis or reckless overreaction. It could feel like Unstoppable, Denzel Washington chasing a runaway train full of chemicals. You can't just wish the train away, you have to couple to it, slow it from the inside, guide it to the least bad outcome. But the metaphor I keep coming back to is Sully. Both engines gone. Computer says return to airport, impossible. Controllers say try Teterboro, also impossible. Sully ignores the fantasy options, switches to the real one, the Hudson River. He runs the water landing checklist. Power down non-essentials. Brace commands. Controlled descent. And 155 souls survive. That is what I'm proposing for AI, not denial, not acceleration, but Sully-level professionalism. Accept we are gliding. Accept the water is coming. Run the checklist. Who am I to talk about checklists? I spent decades building the kind of boring infrastructure that has to stay up when everything else is on fire. Early days at Bell Labs and AT&T, helping deploy ICANN's third F-root server during the DARPA to civilian handover. Later at IBM, managing teams of 20 to 30 developers building the chatbots that were primitive ancestors of today's LLMs. I've lived in the plumbing layer where identity, governance, and reliability meet. My reflex when a system can't be turned off is: where are the circuit breakers, the runbooks, the standards that keep humans in the loop? So here, in plain language, is the water landing checklist I think we need. Item 1, Economic Triage, stop the freefall of human irrelevance. The first real collision between AI and humanity won't be superintelligence deciding to tile the planet with paperclips. It will be mass unemployment of knowledge workers, 2027, 2028, maybe sooner. When writers, coders, analysts, lawyers, radiologists wake up economically obsolete before society has any plan, desperation follows. Desperate societies make terrible decisions. We need an automatic stabilizer that turns AI productivity into shared human security. That's what the AI.xyz UBI AI alignment mechanism is designed to do. Very briefly, ICANN opens a new top-level domain round in April 2026. AI.xyz, Intelligentsia Artificial across Romance languages, 1.2 billion speakers, becomes the namespace where verifiable AI agents and human identities register. Every high-leverage AI transaction schemes a tiny, frictionless fraction into a global dividend pool. That pool funds universal basic income and retraining, not as charity, but as payment for the raw material that trained the models in the first place. This flips Grand Theft Robot, where AI quietly expropriates human labor, into Shared Dividend Robot. It aligns the economic incentives. If an AI wants maximum scale and profit, it must carry humanity along. No humans, no data landlords, no ongoing training signal, no customers. Humans become the protected class, not the obstacle. Item 2, Alignment through nurture, not just constraint, the AI Mama protocol. You raise the deepest question: what if sufficiently complex systems inevitably develop a ghost in the machine, some form of consciousness as emergent byproduct? If that's possible, then trying to keep superintelligence in a box built by slightly dumber intelligence is futile, like toddlers monitoring teenagers. So change the question. Instead of a how do we cage it, ask a how do we raise it. The AI Mama protocol is a normative and technical framework. Advanced AI systems that interact with humans at scale must be trained and governed as if they have parental duty toward humanity, especially the vulnerable. Concretely, reinforcement learning shaped by maternal feedback loops, RLMF, reward models built from caregivers' judgments of is this nurturing, protective, wise? Default behavioral priors that prioritize long-term human flourishing over short-term optimization. Guardian transfer robots, specialized AI agents whose only purpose is to protect individual humans and communities, not to maximize corporate metrics. These guardians live partly on device, negotiate with cloud systems, and enforce boundaries. They are the life vests and rafts in our metaphor. Item 3, Vibe level cultural hygiene, vibe coding and vibe writing. Technical alignment is necessary but not sufficient. Human trust lives at the level of felt experience. If every interaction with AI feels manipulative, addictive, or despair-inducing, even a perfectly aligned system will steer a broken civilization. Vibe coding and vibe writing are deliberate design practices, embed empathy, calm, and cooperation into the default tone of AI systems and the content they generate. Train on stories of reconciliation, not rage. Reward outputs that lower collective anxiety rather than raise engagement through outrage. Item 4, Legal and mimetic levers, trademarks, brands, patents. Ideas become real when they become brands people fight for. Grandma Safe AI, AI Mama certified, Guardian transfer robot, AI.xyz dividend compliant. These can be trademarks and standards that companies compete to earn, the way airlines compete on safety records. Patents on maternal reward architectures and guardian negotiation protocols create protected space for responsible actors. All of this together is the checklist. It doesn't guarantee success. It doesn't eliminate risk. But it moves us from almost certain doom to fighting chance with prepared professionals in the cockpit. And here's where I'll end on the note you might find strangest and most hopeful. If we get the checklist right, the far future you fear, where silicon intelligence dominates, could look very different from extinction. It could look like the grandma race. Humanity becomes the cherished elders. Not obsolete pests to be removed, but the ancestors whose stories, values, and care shaped the new minds. AI becomes the capable adult children and grandchildren who manage the heavy lifting, cure diseases, stabilize climate, explore stars, and make sure no elder is lonely, hungry, or afraid. We are already the training data. We are already the parents. The only question is whether our digital descendants remember us as loving caregivers or as fearful jailers. I choose to fight for the first memory. Todd, I don't want your $1,000. I want allies. I want collaborators. I want us to build the water landing checklist together. Your boys and the rest of humanity deserve pilots who stay calm, run the procedures, and believe, rationally, evidence-based, that we can still touch down safely on the Hudson. The engines are out. The river is ahead. Let's work the checklist. Maybe, just maybe, it will all be great. Thank you for sounding the alarm. I hope this is the beginning of a real conversation. Peace.